Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, remember, these are all companies. They're great companies. They're time savers, they're money makers for you, and they're a great addition to your team. So I want you to take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, going to be very glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Huddle. You know, I used Huddle forever as a football coach, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. Our coaches, I'm telling you, all of our coaches just love the Huddle platform. Our student athletes love the videos. Our parents love the streaming, but there's a whole lot more. Go to huddle.com. Join the 100 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a whole new level. Beacon is a content creation service, and they're going to take your stories, your history, your kids, your coaches, and turn them into compelling narratives that you can then share on social media. You really got to see it to believe it. I want you to email John Townsend. You can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. It's a winning team. We also want to thank Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results. You're going to do all of this on Home Campus, and Home Campus does it better and does it faster than the other platforms. Did I mention facilities? Did I mention athletic eligibility and clearance? That one alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. Let's also say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an AD was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. Let's also say thanks to Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software package. And things like sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, it all flows through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes. You know it's going to happen. Booster Hub keeps everything intact. Nothing falls through the cracks. Give your boosters the platform they need. Give them the platform they deserve. Go to boosterhub.com. We also want to thank Gipper. Gipper is the modern marketing platform that makes it easy for you to make your athletic department's online presence look like it's Division I. Make it look like it's pro. Gipper makes marketing easy for any athletic department with their thousands of professionally themed and designed templates that are going to promote your program. And they're going to promote them in your colors, your brand, your logos. Go to Gipper.com. Create, share, and schedule all your social media content on one simple platform, and that platform is Gipper.com. Let's say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant AD did, along with thousands of others. And while they were earning their degrees, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Let's say thank you to Hometown. Hometown is your trusted partner in growing school revenue, building websites, any type of fundraising tool, online ticketing, and more. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a head coach, Hometown's going to show you how to save time. They're going to show you how to raise more money, and they're going to show you how to bring your entire community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. That's hometown.com. And let's also say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, if you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your coaches, your student athletes, even your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that connects you with all the stakeholders in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday. It's Tech Tuesday here on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners will certainly recognize the name Jen Peterson. If you're new to the podcast, you need to write down her contact information. Tremendous resource. Jen's let's start here. She's a certified strength and conditioning coach. That's one of the more difficult certifications to obtain. She was a long-time high school coach and AD. She was a college head coach, has a tremendous background in leadership, also was a college athlete. She is the director of coaching initiatives and strategies for the University of Washington Center for Leadership in Athletics. Also teaches at the University of Washington. She's also the founder and CEO of her own company, 3D Athletics. We're going to give out all the contact information. But Jen Peterson, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I always enjoy our chats, and again, our listeners do too. They're always among our most highest, downloads. You are at, let's say, ground zero for coaches' education and professional development in the state of Washington. Share a little bit about some of the things you do in broad brushstrokes, and then I'm going to have you put the microscope on it. But what are you doing right now in the area of, or what's your group doing right now in the area of coaches' education?
Yeah, so we're primarily content specialists and content developers. We develop online coaches education courses, primarily pedagogical foundation. So regardless of sport, it's not sport specific, technical type stuff. It is foundational instructional strategies. How do you interact and connect with young people? How do you motivate them? How do you set your team culture up in a way that's going to really enhance not only their development, but their performance? And so that's kind of one area or one sort of specialty out of our center. All of it's driven by research that we do out of the center as well, which is primarily focused on youth sport. We do a lot of work in school-based athletics. And so all of our courses that are currently out and available on NFHS are geared towards your school-based high school, middle school coach. And then we deliver a lot of in-person trainings that go along with our online courses. So if you kind of think of it like if you were in college, the online course is sort of your lecture, if you will. And then our in-person trainings are like your practicum or your coaching lab. And so we take the content that coaches get online and we bring it to life and apply it to their sport, their age group, their setting, sort of bring it to life for them so that they can see what it looks like in action.
Yeah, boy, I love all the aspects, especially that, hey, this is research-based. It's not just, pulling some ideas out of thin air. Now, you mentioned, delivering the content. Do you guys go out on the road? Do you do school districts, conferences, or do they come to you at the University of Washington for events where you present this material?
Yes, all of the above. So we will partner with districts that have, say, their own coaches school or their own developed coaches education program, and we'll go out and deliver content to a district, sometimes in a series of, say, 4 or 5 sessions. We do a lot of conferences, especially regionally and within our state, try to hit a lot of the big state conferences and make sure that we're getting out and delivering content to just keeping as much current content available and accessible to coaches within our area as possible. And then we do a lot of national conferences, and obviously our content is available nationally on the NFHS Learn platform. So trying to make sure that we're getting out and partnering with as many organizations and states and just getting out to coaches wherever we can.
Now, coaches education, I think it's something that athletic directors love to do, love to provide that professional development for their coaches, but sometimes they're challenged through, well, just time. The job of an athletic director varies from school to school. Also, the cost of delivering these programs. Now, you mentioned the National Federation courses. Many of those are free courses. And the point I was getting to is it varies from state to state on, is it a recommendation or is it a requirement? I know here in Florida, we have certain state statutes as well as association rules for requirement. In an environment where education is not required, what are some, I guess, maybe creative ways that you guys have done or you've seen other athletic directors use to deliver quality professional development for coaches' education?
Yeah, I think creating value and incentivizing it is sort of the first place, right? Even with a required sort of coaches education mandate or requirement or component, you still want buy-in from the coaches. You don't want them to just be checking another box. You want them to approach it as professional development and professional growth, so that they'll take as much as they can away from it and hopefully apply it then with their teams. That's where we have the greatest impact on student athletes. So, you know, regardless of whether or not it's a requirement, we want to create value and incentivize not only the content, but sort of the belief system behind the content, if that makes sense. So we believe firmly in the power of sport and positive youth development. So we think that sport is a great vehicle for teaching life skills, for helping young people develop during a stage when they're, during adolescence when they're developing really rapidly and trying to figure out who they are and how to make sense of the world. And so if we do sport well, we can really help support them in that to be successful when they leave us, and beyond high school and beyond sport. And so we're approaching it sort of from that lens or that perspective. And so creating that buy-in and understanding and that belief system around the importance of sport and their role within it. So sport's only positive if the athletes develop within it and have a positive experience while they're doing it, right? And that comes down to quality coaching, quality programming, making sure that they're well equipped and skilled to be able to do those things with those young people. So I think creating that buy-in, incentivizing it, and creating the value behind it is sort of step one. And then requiring it, mandating it, and doing some of the other structural things where you can hold coaches accountable to that and make sure that programming is equitable across your state or across your region is sort of the second component to that. And that comes in with some of that infrastructure of requirements. How are you going to track it? The compliance side of it.
Right. I mean, all just tremendous points. I'm going to put you on the spot. We talk in
Yeah.
teaching and coaching about the phrase with a new coach or a new AD, new anything. You don't know what you don't know. Uh, I'll frequently get emails about a podcast guest, sometimes about a book or one of our AD books. Boy, I wish I had this when I was first starting out. As you've gone from, coach and athletic director yourself now to, someone who's passing on that wisdom and that knowledge, share with us if you can an incident where a coach or an AD came up to you and said, "Boy, Jen, I wish I would have had this." What was the this that they were talking about? What little nugget had you delivered in that course?
Man, it happens all the time. I think just the little takeaways and the actual hands-on strategies and skills. There isn't in our country, we don't have like a really standardized coach education or coaching pipeline. Everybody comes into coaching sort of in a different way. And so there isn't sort of a standard way to be prepared or to be certified, if you will, to get into coaching. You could have no coaching experience, no sport experience, pass a background check, and in many cases, become a volunteer coach or get hired as a coach. And so I think anytime somebody learns something new or hears something in a different way at a conference or at an in-person training, it's one of those, man, I wish I would have had that beforehand. But I think what I always come back to those coaches with is because we don't have a standardized way of preparing for coaching or getting certified for coaching, coaching's really sort of an evolution, right? So, yes, you said it at the beginning. You don't really know what you don't know until you sort of get going and get into it. And so you don't really know what questions to ask. And part of that is the experience of it, right? You sort of have to, just like your athletes, you have to learn through failure, you have to learn through some mistakes and figure out sort of what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, have some good self-awareness to know, okay, here's where I need to develop. And I think that changes over time for coaches, right? So you come into coaching and maybe you're very focused on the technical, tactical aspects of your sport because you came from a background as being an athlete. That's what you know, but you don't quite know yet the all the nuances that go into connecting with young people, motivating young people, instructing and assessing skills, right? And how to sequence and progress those things. And so I think, part of that comes along as you get into coaching, but it's different for everybody, right? So if you're a teacher leaving the classroom and now you're going to get into coaching, maybe your instructional skill set is really strong, but you don't have as much, technical, tactical, sport specific knowledge. And then that comes along. And so I think it's different for every coach. I think giving themselves grace and continuing to want to get better is the part that we look for, right? The coach that's hungry, that wants to continue to get better, to better serve their athletes, to help set them up for success. Those are the ones that we see that stay in the profession and do the best when they're working with that age group, especially at the K-12 level. So,
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite cliches, I'm sure I stole it from somebody else, is talking to athletic directors that 22, 23-year-old rookie coach that walks into your office, they're probably not going to walk in as a Hall of Famer, but with your mentoring and your encouragement, 15, 20 years down the road, they might walk out your office as a Hall of Fame coach. Now, you've been involved, you've taken courses, you develop courses, you deliver courses. Again, I'm putting you on the spot. You're not going to come back on the podcast anymore. What's a course that you've been thinking about? Maybe you're working on it clandestinely. What's a course that does not exist right now that you want to see come to fruition?
oh man, that's a good one. We're lucky because at the center, we kind of get to develop what we choose to. And obviously, it's based on sort of what we get as far as feedback from ADs and coaches, as far as interest levels and needs. Um, but we really get to attack content as we think is needed and that there's a high area of interest. I will say the one that is not up on the NFHS Learn platform, but is up on our LMS that just came out this last spring is we call it to run or not to run. And it's about using physical activity as punishment. And it goes into sort of what research and best practice has to say about it. But there's also interviews with athletes and coaches and just understanding what's the intent behind it. And is it really aligning with our instructional goals or our coaching goals? And is that the best strategy? And oftentimes, and I will say from our perspective, all of the time, the answer to that question is no, right? There are other ways to motivate, to mimic game-like pressure, to change behavior, to any reason you would say on the line, let's run, other than for conditioning and for performance needs. There's usually another way that's probably better that won't create a negative association with the very thing that athletes need to perform well, which is conditioning and physical activity. So I'd point to that one just because it isn't up on the national platform. It is available for free on our platform. If you go to UW, we call it UW in the Seattle area, uwcla.edu. Go to our coaches tab and you can get to the course from there. But yeah, it's an interesting course. It always brings up, stimulates really interesting dialogue. We talk about it in in-person trainings. We use it in our undergraduate and graduate courses. And the dialogue around it is really interesting. We could have a whole podcast series just on a group discussion around whether or not physical activity for punishment is sort of the right tool in the toolkit for coaches.
Right. No, it's a great topic. And again, I love the fact that what you guys have put out is research based. I remember as I became a head coach in football and had got to work for some pretty smart coaches as an assistant, conditioning, we really got away from, okay, it's the last 20 minutes of practice and we're going to run. We tried to condition the entire practice through our drills. Covering kickoffs, covering punts. I mean, That's conditioning. Well, let's put some bags into this, maybe close in on a runner and work on some football related skills while we're conditioning. Um, offensive plays, I know colleges, they're big about, the running back had to sprint 40 yards. We weren't quite that good. We did 30, but it was enough for our kids to get the idea, hey, that, we are going to, put that effort into it. And that's what you're looking for in any sport is the kids bringing that effort. Really cool stuff. Can I ask, is there any course that the team is currently working on that is approved and soon to be unveiled? It's just not out there yet, or do you need to keep those under wraps?
We have sort of a think tank list going right now. We haven't decided exactly which direction we're going to go. We're sort of waiting on some funding decisions to come through here in the next month, and then that'll sort of dictate which courses we prioritize first. A lot of the work that we do is grant funded. That way we can keep the price point really low for coaches, which is how we've been able to offer our courses for free for the most part right now.
Okay. Well, we're
So
going
next
to
time.
we're going to continue to watch and see when that next course gets out there. Thanks again, Jen, for coming on. Let's give out that contact information. And listeners, you have a tremendous resource here in a number of different areas, coaching, athletic director, leadership, you name it. What's the best way our listeners can get in touch with Jen Peterson if they want more information?
Yeah, I would say first go to our website, uwcla.edu. All of our contact information is available on our website. It also has all of our resources. We have access to a free handbook for coaches up there as well. If you want to email me directly, it is jpcscs@uw.edu.
Okay. And you can also find Jen on LinkedIn. Jen, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with our listeners. All the best moving forward this spring in Washington, and looking forward to the next time we get you back on the podcast.
Great. Thank you for having me.
For our listeners, we want to say thanks to you. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Tech Tuesday just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, before we go, of course, we want to give our sponsors one more shout out. Let's say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. That's Ohio University. I want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com, find out more. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your student athletes, your parents, your coaches, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Hometown. It's the leading digital ticketing provider for schools and colleges. It's a fundraising platform. It's an athletic website construction platform. Go to hometown.com. Find out all the things that they can do for you and your program. Sideline Interactive. Indoor score tables and video boards. You've heard me say before, probably the best purchase I ever made as an AD was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. Home Campus, it's a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results, eligibility, facilities, you name it, Home Campus does it, and they do it better than the other platforms. Go to homecampus.com for more information. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software program. Check out boosterhub.com. Gipper. If you're not using Gipper as your social media creation site, you're missing out on a great opportunity. Go to gipper.com. Find out all the ways they can help you turn your athletic department's social media into a destination. And Beacon Creative Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Wall of Fame for the video boards, Beacon Creative for the content. Check out Beacon Creative. Email John Townsend. That's John at beaconwalloffame.com. Thanks as always for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.